introduce it to me as a tour guide, something like that. Okay? And also this one, show and tell. You know show and tell. I don't have to explain this. But what about this? Tour guide TV show. What do you mean by tour guide and TV shows? It is still related to role plays. If you use long-term version or some other versions, you may have a lot of lessons with the content about geography, right? About some ancient marvels of the world, right? Or some marvels in Taiwan. Remember Charcoal Gorge or Kenting National Park, so on and so forth. And after you're done with this, you may ask your class, your students, or ask your class to do this kind of activity. Okay, TV show. Okay, we will have a simulated TV show interview in the next class. Please think about the following question and discuss the answers with your partner. Okay? What would you like to learn about celebrity, blah, blah, blah. But here, they don't have to know about family and hobbies. I want them to introduce, take that lesson about the ancient marvels as an example. I want them to learn about the celebrities or the tour guides' idea about those ancient marvels. Understand? So one is the host, and whereas the other will be the tour guide, introducing different places. Since there are how many paragraphs? Since there are maybe 5 landmarks, so you can have 5 TV shows. You can have one group responsible for the King Adventure, right? 冒险王, and the other group includes something like a step in Taiwan, into Taiwan, something like that. Okay, 大脚逛大陆, something like this. Okay, 大脚逛台湾, something like that. Okay. Okay. And then if you were the host of a TV show, how would you ask for the information in part 1 in an appropriate way? So right down the question, you would probably ask, remember to be polite. We tend to use some expressions to make the questions less direct. For example, they would say, I am wondering if you could tell me about your traveling experience. Could you tell us how, blah, blah, blah. Would you mind telling us, blah, blah, blah. Okay, something like that, okay? And then they have to create a role play like this. This is really interesting, okay? And then this one, silent film. Okay, silent film. Okay, silent film. I will use this one, silent film. What do you mean by silent film? Some of you may have done this before.
Come on, Bucks. Here we go.
You could hear the voice, right? You can hear the vocal projection, right? But this one. Okay. But
do the last week.
But I may try to mute it. Understand? To mute somehow this YouTube clip, and then I'll ask them to create the conversation between the two people. And then, while they do this together, they are supposed to create their atmosphere, their conversations for the two people over there. This one is very interesting. Because this is about how two straights come out to become gays. And then my students will be, oh my goodness. And only for 10 seconds, or for example, for 20 seconds, I think that the time will be enough, okay? Something like that. You don't have to go to the extremes by following my example because you may be sued, okay? But I love it because I can also introduce gender stereotypes. I can also introduce homosexuality to them. I can also introduce what is heterosexuality. Okay, something like that. I like to use different kinds of things for my English classes. Okay, thank you. Please turn on the light. Okay, so it's for you. My students can serve as different roles in the show, which must be muted. Okay, which must be silenced. Thank you. Okay, and then of course, because we are running out of time, but actually you can come up with so many kinds of activities right here. I want to introduce them really quickly in 1 minute. For example, you can teach them some McDonald's conversation or Western restaurant conversation for a lesson like A Weird but Wonderful World on the menu. It's from the long-term textbook, right? You can ask them to order the Weird but Wonderful World, wonderful, food, on the menu in a Western restaurant, right? You can do this, right? And then someone for my dream, you can ask them to create a short speech about I have a dream, right? And then you can ask them to do an open-ended conversation about the lady or the tiger, right? Or the last lead, right? Okay. Or maybe you can ask them to read out loud their love letter when it comes to the lesson, love conquers all, right? Or you can ask them to create the conversation between the American husband and then the Japanese wife, if you know that lesson, love conquers all, okay? And also acceptance speech. There's a lesson about Anne Lee, and then you can ask them to create an acceptance speech like this.